Is VR dead or is VR booming? That's the question we're going to be answering today. And other VR and AR news, like Snapchat showing off their new AR glasses they were going to be releasing soon, and the US Army making a deal for $22 billion with Microsoft for the HoloLens, and much more VR and AR news. But the big question for today is VR dead or is VR booming? We have seen so many articles for the past years saying that VR is dead, VR is not taking off, or VR is not worth it. But this is not true at all. And the reason for this is that we have multiple things showing us this week in the news why VR is booming right now. For our first big story is that the Facebook VRelity Labs VP Andrew Buzzword said that the Quest 2 has outsold all Oculus headsets today combined. Take a second to take that in. That means the Rift from March 2016, the Oculus Go in May 2018, and the Quest and the Rift S that came out in May 2019. All of these four headsets that Oculus ever made, all those sales combined, the Quest 2 sold more than that. And the best part is that the Quest 2 came out in October 2020, which means it's only 6 months old. So in 6 months, the Quest 2 has sold more units than Oculus did with all their headsets since 2016. That's insane. So everybody that says that VR is dead, this is showing that VR is booming and it's the best thing ever. Buzzword also said that they think the reason for this is that the Oculus Quest 2 is finally becoming mainstream. And this is mainly because it's not just early adopters, but also the mainstream people that want these VR headsets. And that's because of the price-quality ratio. The Quest 2 is only $299, which means it is not that expensive, but it also packs a huge punch. It has the latest technology in there, the latest chips, and the highest VR things we can get right now. And that's why it's selling so well, according to Andrew Buzzword. But that's not all. Another reason why VR is not dead, but it's actually booming, is the next big story. And the next big story says that the monthly connected VR headset on Steam finally crossed a new milestone of 3 million. And this is amazing news, guys. So each month, Valve collects info from Steam users to determine some baseline statistics about what kind of hardware and software the users are actually using on the platform, and to see how things are changing over time. And this also includes the use of VR headsets. So this means you can see if the use of VR headsets becomes more or less every month and which headsets are doing better or worse. The insane thing is that finally on this month, on March 21, we reached over 3 million headsets. And over the past month, we have seen such a high growth. And just to realize is that it took 41 months for Steam to reach only 1 million connected headsets. And it only took now 11 months for it to reach another 2 million onto that, into a total of 3 million connected headsets. That's a times 3 in 1/4 of the complete time. That's just insane. That's a year-over-year number of 119% increase. So again, VR is booming. And for one more big story that shows it even more how VR is not dead at all, is that 1 in 4 VR headsets that are being used on Steam are actually Oculus Quest 2s. What you have to realize is that the Oculus Quest 2 is mainly made to be a standalone headset. That means you put the headset on, you take the controls and you start playing. You don't need a dedicated PC or a gaming laptop for it. But there is a possibility to connect your Oculus Quest 2 with a link cable to your PC. And now we can see that 1 in 4 VR headsets that is being used on Steam are actually Quest 2s that are being connected through the link cable to a PC. And we can see that in this chart because the Oculus Quest 2 has increased by 1.34%, and that means it almost hits now 25%, which is 1/4 of the total market of VR headsets. And in second place, we can see the Oculus Rift S at 20.9%. Just imagine how big of a market share Oculus and Facebook actually have. In this chart, you can also see that 58% of the complete Steam VR headset usage are by Facebook itself. following up by the company HTC, which only has 16%, and Valve itself with also only 16%. Just the scope of Facebook having such a large amount is insane, but to top it off, this shows off how Facebook is dominating the PC VR market. But the best part is, the headset they are selling that is doing so well is not even meant for a PC VR headset. It's actually meant to be a standalone headset. And that's even more insane because in the standalone headset market, Facebook basically has 100%. So just imagine how good this is for a VR. And any article saying that VR is dead, just keep in mind, VR is not dead at all. VR is booming more than ever. And it's not going mainstream. The next year it's going mainstream right now. So for our next big story of this week is that Snapchat is readying a new version of their AR spectacle glasses. Snapchat has actually been making and selling spectacles with cameras in them already since 2016. It's important to note that these are not AR glasses. This means there's no display on the glasses itself. They only contain a camera, and you can take pictures with this and then send it to your phone. These are not AR glasses. These are spectacle glasses that are able to use a camera. So don't get your hopes up too much that AR glasses are being released soon. But Snapchat is also saying they are working on the next versions of these spectacles, and they are forcing more and more technology into these glasses to eventually actually make these spectacles into full AR glasses where we actually have displays. Because right now you would have to take a picture with that camera, send it to your phone, and then you could put a filter over it. Of course, it doesn't make any sense that way. The whole Snapchat reason for AR is meant to directly put a filter over the reality you're seeing right now. So it would be even better if you could directly put an AR filter on top of it and then see it through those glasses. And Snapchat is working on that. But we still have to wait a while before that's released. But I'll make sure to cover any news on this in future videos. But this is not the only AR news we had this week. Because in our next big story, we can see that Niantic, who is famous for their Pokemon Go app, has just teased their own AR glasses. And this is a very weird thing that we didn't see coming at all. A couple weeks ago, I dedicated a whole video to how Pokemon and AR is coming soon because of Microsoft. But this is even a step further, because Niantic actually tweeted this image saying, "Exciting to see the process we're making to enable new kinds of devices to leverage our platforms." And this was something we weren't expecting at all. We saw Pokemon Go on AR glasses, but knowing that Niantic is also working on AR glasses themselves is just insane, because that means that Niantic themselves are physically working on a product. And they're also working with Qualcomm. And Qualcomm is also known, of course, for their own chips and for their own concept for AR glasses, as you can see right here. And if they could pull it off, it would be very possible to see Pokemon Go on this headset. The only problem with AR glasses right now is that it needs a lot of power and a lot of batteries. And so far the technology hasn't advanced enough yet to keep these all in a nice frame of AR glasses. So the whole point is right now to connect it to an external device, for example your phone, for the battery but also for the power itself. If Niantic could pull this off, we could actually see Pokemon Go in real life very soon. But this hurdle is still a thing we need to overcome. And we also know that big companies like Facebook and Apple are also working on their own AR glasses. But don't expect to see these AR glasses anytime soon. The technology is still not there yet, and it would still take a while for it to be fully released in public. Now for our last big story of this week is that the US Army signed a $22 billion contract with Microsoft to bring HoloLens 2 technology to the battlefield. The HoloLens is a very capable AR headset. It's one of the best AR headsets that is on the market today. Like we said before, AR is going to be very, very important into the future, but the technology is not there yet. But if we had to choose anything that is the furthest and the closest to the future of AR that we want, it's gonna be HoloLens. So this is not a small deal. This shows off that the US Army really sees a future in augmented reality. And not just augmented reality, because it's signing a $22 billion deal. That's not just something small. What started as just a $480 million deal has now ballooned into $22 billion. They already had a deal with the US Army for the HoloLens 1, but this is a new deal that they made for the new headset, the HoloLens 2. And what they're going to use it for is actually to train their soldiers. Because with augmented reality, you could put them in environments that are not actually real or actually harmful for them, but it looks like they are actually in a situation that could put stress on them and they could train in these situations. Like we talked about in the last video, where virtual reality headsets are being used to treat chronic pain, we can also use these to train people like the US Army itself. And this only shows how much potential AR and VR have for the future, and it will only become more and more important. So, if anybody ever says that VR and AR are dead, it's not true. VR and AR are both booming and they're gonna be booming even more.